Economic, sure.
With regard to elevators, why can't they do it the same at Town Hall as they're doing here? Why must it be indoors?
The elevator?
An elevator.
On the exterior of the building, a couple issues there. One, it's a national and state historic site, and there's what's called the Department of Interior Standards. So that was explored, an elevator to the rear of the building, just like as a similar here would be in the front of the building. In the Hartley Dodge, it would be at the rear of the building, and that was not allowed by the Department of the Interior. They have very strict standards that once you're on the state or national historic register, there's very severe restrictions as to the type of additions and renovations and rehabilitation efforts you can take on a building, and we try to explore it. But that building will have, and we can talk about that on the master list to talk about where we are in that, because we've been out of there a couple months and you don't see a lot of activity going by and you say, what's going on?
Well, they've got 2 years. Why are they planning for 2 years to put in an elevator?
Well, it's a little bit more than that. Well, why don't we talk about what, well, we'll shift to that topic. Hartley Dodge, well, what's going on? One is the roof has severe roof leaks. So, which you'll shortly see some scaffolding going up. The roof is in very bad, it's a slate roof. There's 280 missing slates on the roof, which is a major issue. There's water migration from the top through the attic all the way down to the ground floor. So obviously you can't do anything inside the building till you deal with the roof. It's like the roof of your house. Why bother painting your ceilings if the roof's leaking continuously? So the first thing you're going to see is the roof and the scaffolding for the roof. You're going to see that communications tower to the rear, that high tower which has all the dishes on it, that'll be coming down. What's been going on inside the building is what's called selective demolition. The quarry where the marble was secured from originally to build the building has been quarried out. The strain is gone. We found the quarry, it was in Vermont, but in the 50s it stopped operation, so we can't match the marble upstairs. So what's being done is we're harvesting the marble, bathroom partitions, and tile in the basement area that you never see, which is where the police cells were and the police and fire department used to be. It's like a basement, not good quality workspace. And we're taking those materials and they will be reused upstairs in the visible public spaces to match the marble that will be damaged as part of the renovation. The building is 72 years old, 74 years old. It will be 75 years next Memorial Day. The HVAC, the heating, ventilating, and air conditioning system is 75 years old. So just think of your window air conditioner after 75 years and apply that to a building air conditioning system or heating system. So we have a 75-year-old heating and air conditioning system. And we preach water conservation. I'll use an example, which is not a good one in terms of energy conservation, but to air condition that building, there's a chiller, and cold water is passed over that chiller, or through the chiller, 10,000 gallons an hour, and then the water is dumped into the ground. So 10,000 gallons an hour go back. I mean, eventually, hopefully it finds its way back into the aquifer, but it's a very inefficient system that's not green friendly in terms of the use of water. So we send out and put in the paper, you know, odd even water your lawns, wash your cars, and at the same time, to air condition that building, we're putting 10,000 gallons of water an hour into the ground. So there's about 50% of the work you won't see in terms of, there's also asbestos in the walls, which is dangerous and is called friable, which means it's flaking off, and if it gets into the air, it can lodge in your lungs, and it's dangerous for the employees and residents who come into town. So a large chunk of the money will be the roof, the heating, ventilating, and air conditioning system, and the removal of the asbestos. So you don't see a lot of that. So what's been going on is basically the building, we've already filled about 20 dumpsters internal to the building. So the building has been entirely cleaned out, and if you walked in, everything is gone out of the buildings now. So what we're working on, next step would be we have 4 pre-qualified contractors, so we won't go through what happened with the police and fire building. We're under public bidding. You have to take the lowest responsible bidder. That bidder didn't perform on the contract. We didn't get the ability to say, well, we don't like you. It says they were the lowest bidder, you get stuck with them, and they didn't perform. In this case, we pre-qualified 4 bidders who have significant historic renovation experience, so we have a higher confidence level that one of the 4 can perform, and they will compete against each other for the job. We have, the architect has prepared the plans and specs. We hope to go out probably within the next 30 days with the bids. And the goal would be it's about a 12 to 15-month job. Our original plan was to try to get back into the building for the 75th anniversary, which would be Memorial Day 2010. We're going to be tight to make that. The elevators that you talked about, there'll be, right now, 2 elevators in the building. One will be on the fire apparatus bay side, so as you face the building, that's called the west wing to the right. One will be there, and there'll be one in the center core of the building. So you can either come in on the street side, or you can come in the front steps, which will still make it difficult for people who have difficulty with the steps. But there will be a grade level, handicap accessible elevator at grade level on the right-hand side. There'll be a brand new court. One of the things we're doing is to try to get money back for the taxpayers, because we're investing a large sum of money to restore the building. It's like, well, it's a workplace for 35 people, and it's the place where we do the work of the community. You know, people come to pay their bills or pay their tickets or apply for a building permit. How do you get some of that investment back? What we've been doing privately has been negotiating with Florham Park, Harding Township, and hopefully Chatham Borough to create what's called a joint municipal court, where basically our court staff and our court space will serve as the host community, and 3 other towns will pay us a fee to use our facilities. And that's how we hope to get some of the money back that we've all invested into that building to be the host community. So our staff, the cost of running the court, to a large degree, will be allocated out. So when we write a ticket now, besides keeping the proceeds, the cost of operating the court, the judge, the municipal prosecutor, the court administrator, deputy court administrator, and to some degree the police department will be absorbed by these other towns contributing their fair share to use the space. So our staff will become their staff, and we'll take 60 to 80% of the salaries of the people we now pay 100% of, and send that bill to Florham Park and Harding Township and Chatham Borough. And the goal would be is that we'll try to get as many, because that facility is only used 1 day a week, so to spend a large sum of money for elevator, handicap accessibility, fix the building system, and then have court 1 day a week doesn't make a lot of sense. So we'd like the court to be busy 5 days a week and have somebody pay the Borough of Madison for that. So that's one of our models, is to do that. The other thing that you may